What's going on, everyone? Happy St. Patrick's Day. I hope you guys are all doing great, having a good day in the markets. Now, let's talk about the NASDAQ futures for just a little bit. Markets still remain very difficult to trade. And the reason being is we're getting nice moves in the pre-market. So unless you're trading London session, unless you're trading that pre-market um, US session, then it's been a little bit of a chop fest. It's been a little bit of distribution off of our open. However, there was two strategies that I went over with yesterday with everyone, and you guys can go to the YouTube channel and you can look at the videos I uploaded from yesterday. But those videos, I was talking about the opening drive. I was also talking about if we have dead cat bounces, meaning where the market is pushing higher, instead of taking the breakout trades, instead of trading that momentum to the upside on continuation after the New York Open, instead look for those deeper pullbacks for little bounces. Okay. Something else that I was mentioning yesterday in those videos was trade less, meaning more time in between taking trades. So, in normal market conditions, outside of all of this recent, high volatility that we've had, you can look for those scalps to the long side, take two or three of them on continuation, look for the rejection, take it back down, look for the bounce, take it back up. But when volatility expands and the ranges are a little bit bigger and the market's really not going anywhere, and we are in a little bit more of a sell-sided market underneath this daily 50 moving average. Remember, below the daily 50 moving average, you are a little bit more bearish, okay? Not a little bit. Like you can have sellers step in at any time and pull this market, which you can kind of see that happen today. They kind of, ran this up in the pre-market, ran it up through the highs off the open, and then we've just been pulling back, for the better half of almost 2 hours now. Let's talk about the strategies that we went over yesterday. Opening drive. This is the only type of setup to the long or to the short side that I would take on a breakout or breakdown. Why? I've been taking this setup for about a month now, like pretty religiously. Again, it's always been in the arsenal. It's always been in my cookbook. It's always been part of, one of the setups that I'm looking for, but it's been paying more frequently than when the market is kind of trending in one direction. And I believe the reason is because there's higher volatility. So when we have higher volatility, what I'm actually looking for is a smaller take profit, right? A lot of times I feel like traders, when the ranges are bigger and there's more volatility, they're looking for bigger take profits. So instead of looking for 10 points, you're looking for 20 or 30. Instead of looking for 20 points, you're looking for 50 or 60. Instead of looking for 5 points, you're looking for 15 or 20. When in reality, the way that I do it is a little bit backwards. So if the volatility goes higher, I look for smaller take profits because I want to be on the right side of the trade or give myself as much opportunity as possible to get in and out of that trade very quickly because I want to avoid the volatility. Now, most traders, want volatility because if there's no volatility, you can't day trade. I'm a little bit opposite, right? I want the market to be boring. I want the market to be seamless. I don't want a lot of volatility. I don't want to be in a trade that's up 10, 15 points, but that has a potential to get yanked 30 points in the blink of an eye. I don't like that. That's not orderly to me. I want things very boring. I want things very orderly. So if you look at the relative most recent swing high in the pre-market, you're going to see we had two wicks here, a little bit of a double top leading right into the New York Open. Okay. So what is that opening drive? If we break that relative swing high, we go long. We don't wait for no closure. We don't wait for no confirmation. We get into the trade. Now, remember what I said. We're not looking for 30, 40, 50, 60, 100 points. I'm looking for 5 to 10, anything in between. If I get into this trade and I go up 5 points, 6 points, 7 points, 8 points, I'm going to take my profits. Okay. Very quickly because I know that if I can take profits very quickly and walk away, I'm safe, right? I can put that money in the bank. And for those of you guys who are trading prop firms, you guys can bank away a winning day, another day closer to passing your evaluation, another day closer to taking a payout. For myself, I trade prop firms as well as personal accounts. So I trade the QQQs. I also do a little bit of micro futures trading MNQ on my personal account. If I'm able to take a quick winner, then I just quickly withdraw that and put it to the side. Okay. So if you look at this opening spike, this opening candle, you can see as the market opened, we kind of dipped down very, very quickly and then immediately shot up. So you're buying this long through the breakout here. That's the only trade where I want to buy momentum. Now, I'm not looking to continue to buy continuation. I'm not looking to buy any of these small pullbacks. I'm only looking for a couple of areas to buy pullbacks if we're on a dead cat bounce. Remember, this is only for long-sided trades in these current market conditions. The reason being is because if we are below the 50-day moving average, the market is a little bit weaker, as I have already kind of outlined. So what I'm looking at is, well, I don't want to buy at the top of the range. I want to buy at the bottom of the range. So I'm looking for bounces. I'm looking for remounts or reclaims is what I call them at the 50 or the 200. Okay. I've got a couple of other EMAs that I'm looking at. I'm looking at the 68 EMA. I'm looking at the 100 SMA, but I'm looking for something greater than a small pullback into something like the 20 SMA or something small like the 10 SMA. I'm looking for a deeper pullback and then looking to buy that bounce. So if you look at this candle here, 8:35 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, not only do we flush through the 50 simple moving average on a 5-minute time frame, we also flush through the 65/68, depends on whatever your preference is. I like to use the 65. Some people use the 68. Again, if you don't use these EMAs, it's okay, right? Just focus on the 50 simple moving average because that's going to be good enough. So what you are looking for is a test, a breakthrough, and then a reclaim. What does that mean? I'm looking for a test of the 50 simple moving average, and then I'm looking for a future candle to close back above it. Okay. That to me signifies a deeper pullback. Now, if the market's going to bounce, I'd rather take my shot. I'd rather take my stab at a bounce at the 50 SMA, which is a stronger moving average, than say taking a bounce at like the 5 or the 10, especially when we're underneath the daily 50 moving average. So again, things change if the market gets back above the daily 50. If we do get above the daily 50, then yeah, we'll be looking for bounces off the 10 and 20. We'll be looking for those 20 SMA plays. We'll be looking for a lot of different ideas out there. But if you're looking to, because again, I know a lot of times traders, they get stuck in, oh, well, the market is green, we're pulling back, maybe I should get long. And you're kind of trying to buy every time we're breaking out to the upside. You're pulling back a little bit and you're trying to buy every time we're breaking out to the upside. I would rather allow it to test a 50 SMA, reclaim it, and then get in on a little bit of a bounce. And you can see here, this bounce is not a lot. In fact, this bounce is coming back all the way down to the 65 EMA, right? But if you look at when we reclaim that 50 simple moving average, that price point, just to give you guys a little bit of context, was 24,998. Okay. On the next 5-minute candle, it goes to 25,012. Okay. So this is over a 14, 15 point move here in a matter of 5 minutes, in a matter of one simple little spike. And again, if you go back to the beginning of this video, I'm not looking for 20, 30, 40, 50 point trades, especially in a market that is trading below the 50 SMA, going against that bigger trend. The bigger trend is to the downside, short term, right? Again, markets are only down 5%, but you get what I'm saying. Trading below that 50-day moving average is everything for me, right? It's the difference between looking for a 25, 35, 45 point move to the long side versus looking for a 5 or 10 point move. So in this market environment, 5 or 10 point scalps, they have to act and react fast. Meaning, if I get into this bounce right here, if I get into this bounce and it does not give me 5 or 10 points in 5 minutes, I've got to get out of the trade. Why? because it could do something like it's doing now. It could roll back over. So we're trying to eliminate, we're trying to take away the opportunity for the market to take away your gains. We're trying to eliminate and take away the opportunity for the market to jerk you around. I hope that kind of makes sense. Two strategies. Opening drive has been paying to the long side as well as to the short side, but the opening drive has been paying. So again, if you're a fast action scalper, you like that speed, you like trading right off the open, look at the most relative recent swing high or low, depending on if the pre-market is green or red. In this particular example from today on St. Patrick's Day, we were green. So we're looking to the long side. We get that breakout. This could be a one and done trade. If you're trading one or two or three mini contracts, $200 or $300 here, you're done on the day, right? Bag it, tag it, move it along. If you miss that move and you're waiting for a bigger pullback, then you can look at things like the 20, okay? You can look at things like the 20 for a potential bounce. You can look at the 50 SMA for a potential bounce. Allow it to break through the moving average though. Remember, the moving averages, they're going to move. They're going to bend, okay, with price action. They're not concrete brick walls, okay? Think of moving averages as rubber bands. You can stretch them. The tighter you stretch them, the more resistance, the more weight they'll be able to hold. However, if the weight gets too heavy, that rubber band is going to bend, okay? So what I like to see personally is that rubber band to get snapped through and then reclaimed. So I like the price action to fall through the rubber band, and then I like the price action to get back above it. Because if you think about a rubber band and you stretch it pretty tight, if you bend that rubber band, think about that as price action going through that rubber band. If price doesn't snap that rubber band, what's going to happen if price holds, if price gets back over to the top side? That rubber band is going to slingshot price up. Now, again, it doesn't have to sling it back up 50 points. It doesn't have to sling it back up towards highs. Remember, we're looking for 5 or 10 points until something changes with the situation in Iran, until something changes with the price of oil, until something changes for the better or the worse, and we get out of this basically 2 month, almost 3 month distribution. Again, guys, if you look at the weekly chart, if you look at this weekly chart, this market is only down 4 to 5%. Okay, it's only down 4 to 5%. However, we have not made a new high or a new low going all the way back to November of 2025. So we are currently in March. So if you think about that, December, January, February, and we're in the middle of March. So 3.5 months, we have not made a new high. We have not made a new low. What does that automatically tell you? You got to take smaller profits. You've got to be a little bit more agile, and you've got to be a little bit more reactionary to price up and down. Be a little bit more cautious to the upside, okay? And to the downside, make sure you're looking at some of those bigger key levels: previous day's low, pre-market low, London session low. Look at, losses of the 50 SMA on whatever time frame you're looking at, losses of the 200 SMA on whatever time frame you're looking at, depending on if you're trading. Like, for example, I'll give you an example here. Someone trading the 1 minute time frame, look at what happens today when we lost at 200 SMA. Here's the loss of the 200 SMA at 8:32 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And this market goes from a price of 25,004 all the way down to 24,950. This is over a 45, 50 point move in a matter of 5 minutes once we lost the 1 minute 200 SMA. So think about that for a second, guys. Look at where price bounces up to. It bounces right up to the 200 SMA, trickles around, trickles around, trickles around, trickles around, trickles around, and then starts to fall back down. Now we do have support here at 24,935. Looks like we're going to be a magnet there. Here comes the market now. Looks like we're going to be a magnet down towards this 24,935. So if someone was short here, you're selling into this demand. You're not getting short here. You're not getting short through the low of day. Remember, in this market, you are trading short at the upper portion of the range. You are getting long at the lower portion of the range. So you're getting long at the double bottom. You're getting long at the next demand zone. You're getting short at supply. Okay, you're getting short at supply. We are not going long here into supply. We are not going short into demand. I hope that makes sense. Give it a thumbs up if you guys need Apex evaluations. Remember, 85% off right now using code DAnthony. You can find that link down in the description box below. And I will see all of you guys on the next video.